recording in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and to the first part. Our Decades Challenge is back. Yes, it is. We are starting all over again with the Decades Challenge. This is Mr. Alfred Davis. He is actually an ancestor of mine. Great-great-grandfather. I had to get my greats in the right order then. So yeah, great-great-grandfather on my grandma's side. So Mr. Alfred Davis is who we are starting with. Now, I'm going to put the link to the rules in the description box down below because there's a lot of them, but I'm just going to quickly go over the very, very, very basic stuff, okay? So, only a male heir is allowed. So if there are no sons, then the husband's daughter may become the heir. This is actually very historically accurate. In those days, women would not have inherited property and they wouldn't have inherited land on a very, very, very rare occasion, and usually gentry that would happen to. So that would be correct. Daughters must have creative as their first trait. Again, that is probably accurate. They would have been doing needlepoint. They would have been helping can the jars, maybe doing some painting and things like that. So, that is historically accurate. Anything that I don't feel is historically accurate, by the way, guys, we are changing because I have extensively researched farming through the ages. Don't ask me why. It's one of the areas of history that fascinates me. So I have extensively researched it. If there's anything I don't think is historically accurate, I'm changing it. I'm changing the rules. I don't care. Right? So, relationships and woohooing. Sims may only have a relationship and marry with the opposite gender. Again, very historically accurate. Homosexuality was illegal in those days. So we're going with history. I don't agree with that, but that's how it was historically, so that's how we're going with it. Sims may only marry within their own ethnicity and race. I do not believe that there was a legal precedent for that, but it was morally unacceptable for people to marry interracially in those days. Sims must only try for a baby and never woohoo. Extremely historically accurate. There was no contraception in those days, although I do believe in the Victorian period there was the introduction. In fact, it may have even been earlier than that. There was introduction of using a pig's bladder as a condom. So it is possible, but it would have been more, again, gentry and aristocracy that would have been doing things like that. The workers wouldn't have been doing that. Teenage Sims cannot mess around. Absolutely historically accurate. She would have been shunned and disowned from the family if that was the case. Sims cannot get divorced unless one of them commits adultery. Again, very historically accurate. Female children must move out once they are married. Mostly historically accurate. There are a few cases where the wife and the husband would move in with the girl's parents, but usually it was the man's parents. But there are a few cases, but we will go with that. Adoption is not allowed. I'm not sure. Well, adoption would have been allowed, but it would have been allowed again with the gentry and the aristocracy. They would have been the ones with the funds to do that. The working class would not have had the funds to do that, so they wouldn't have done it unless it was family. They would have taken over family. Consider using off-the-grid lot traits. We have put that on under one of the new challenges. Now, it is saying most of the bugs have been addressed. You will still need to use the shower tub combo for bathing. If you find an off-the-grid CC bathtub, let me know, okay? Now, let's just use candles and lanterns to light the house. This was mostly accurate. Mostly accurate. They were starting to get in the upper classes, they were starting to get gas and things at those times, but this is around the time that the working class farmers would have started to use coal for cooking rather than wood, and they would have been using coal on the machinery in the farms if they could so afford it. It was starting to become more prevalent in those days. I'm giving you all history lesson, I don't care. It was becoming more prevalent in those days that around the 1880s, 1890s was when coal was starting to be introduced into farming. So you were getting things like the threshing machines were being run on coal and were being used rather than hand threshing everything, which used to take hours, and they used to employ, like, all the local people would be employed over the winter to thresh all the corn and things like that, and to take the wheat off the stalks. And then with the thresher, the machine that was starting to be used, it actually caused a huge uprising, and there was a lot of these threshing machines were attacked by the local unemployed people and burnt and things like that because it was putting them out of work during the winter, right? So, outhouses required no toilets in the home. Very historically accurate, and it would have usually been in working class, certainly if you were working for somebody as a farmhand, It would have been communal toilets as well. Knocking on the door, come on, missus, she's dying to pee. Right? Things like that. So only bathtubs, no showers, which again, historically accurate. They would have had a tin tub in front of the fire, and then they all would have got in one after the other. And usually it was the oldest first, and then the youngest went last. So the youngest used to get all the dirty water. And to me, it made no sense. Like, the kids aren't as dirty as the parents. So let the kids go first, then let the mother go, because she would have been around the house, and then let the father wash off all the dirt from the field and stuff, rather than, that would have made more sense to me. But apparently it was the pecking order, and that's the way it was done. Okay. It says only wooden furniture is allowed in the house. Mostly historically accurate, and I have gone for mostly wooden furniture. However, I do have some upholstered chairs, which were starting to be in the working class homes in those days. But the chairs only, they wouldn't have had sofas and things like that. Wooden floors and walls. Now, this is not true. This is 100% historically inaccurate, and I have allowed them to have, it says no drywall or wallpaper. Lies you tell, okay? Because in the 1890s, the Victorian farmers were using what they called limestone plaster. So it was lime and mud and other things mixed together, and they would use that to plaster the walls. They were using limestone plaster in those days. It was using the pigsties to keep the pigs warm, because pigs are comfort animals and they don't like drafts, and it was used in the home. So I have allowed drywall in my house because that's more historically accurate. Buy the cheapest, oldest stoves, fridges, counters, etc. Lies. Not doing it. No. First of all, the cheapest stoves that are in The Sims 4 are not historically accurate. I've gone for things that are more like ranges and cool boxes, which would be more historically accurate. Not the cheapest. I don't care. They're functional off-grid. And, yeah, they're functional off-grid, and then they will they look more historically accurate, because they would have been cooking on ranges in those days. They would have had a range in the farmhouse kitchen. There would have been a range. They would have done all the cooking on it, and it would have heated all the hot water and helped keep the house as warm as possible, although it would have been freezing in those days. But yeah. So, and I haven't gone for the cheapest counters. I've actually gone for the ones that look more historically accurate, so I'm not doing that. No appliances are allowed besides a stove, a grill, and a fridge. No, I've got the range and I've got the fridge, and that's literally all we've got in there. Painting styles allowed are landscape, classic, and impressionism and realism. I don't care. They're gonna paint. I mean, I'll keep it historically accurate if they choose to paint, but I don't think they're gonna have time for painting. A Victorian farm wife would not have had time to paint. Cross stitch, maybe mend the clothes, but she would not have had time for painting. So no, not happening. Not allowed tea and coffee, brewers, DJ equipment, earbuds, kids' tablets, thermometers. Sorry. Thermostats. This heat has got me wiped out, guys. I do apologise. And anything that obviously wasn't around 1890s. I will use my own judgment on that. No holiday decorations, with the exception of indoor decorations around winter holidays. Yeah, this is true. They wouldn't have decorated for any of the other holidays. In fact, I'll probably take them off the calendar. They would have started in those days to bring Christmas trees into the house, and that is because Prince Albert, who was Queen Victoria's husband, brought in the tradition from Germany. But was it Germany or Norway? No, it was Germany. That they bring a green tree into the house over the festive period to represent the coming. It's not always going to be dark. It's not always going to be dead. We have got joy and whatever. So once there was a picture taken of Victoria and her husband and the children stood in front of this tree, and it was printed in the local day newspapers, and I'm using air quotes there because they were kind of just like fly sheets, right? And once people saw that, they started to chop down their own trees and bring them into the house. So that is where the tradition of the Christmas tree in the UK comes from. And that would have been around the Victorian period, so 1890s would definitely be in keeping with that. A small personal greenhouse for your home is allowed, but a large commercial farm greenhouse is not. This would have been extremely true. They would maybe have had a tiny one for the wife, but again, if she had time, she would have been too busy with the farm kitchen. Education. Elementary school is mandatory, but high school is optional. Now, this isn't actually historically accurate. The kids would not necessarily have gone to school in those times. They would have gone to Sunday school, where they would have learnt to read and write, because Sunday school wasn't just about religious education in those days. It was also about forming your letters and things like that. It wasn't actually very often that a farmer's or a working class person's kids would go to school. I think that came in later. I would have to double check my facts on that. But I don't think it was, I mean, they would have gone to school if it was available, but it was more harm than good, if that made sense in those days. High school is optional and has a fee of 1,000 for every teen going. We'll probably keep the teens home to help around the farm, let's be honest. That's what they would have done in those days. Right. University you may attend, I'm going to ignore all that because we're not doing it. Careers, we're ignoring that because none of that is important to us, right? Your sim can't go to festivals or city events. Well, we can go to the town fairs because they would have gone to those. If your sim gets sick, you can't give them medicine. You have to cure them through natural remedies. That's historically accurate. Your sim may not throw any events beside a wedding. That's not necessarily true because the farmers would have had a threshing party or a harvest party afterwards. They would have hired people in to help them with the harvest, and then they would have served them food and cider or food and ale afterwards. So we'll see. Births must occur at home. Babies can only be fed through breastfeeding and not by bottle. Historically accurate, and we are here for it. If your family can afford it, then you can hire a butler or a maid. However, you cannot hire a nanny. We won't be doing that. We may actually hire a maid and pretend that she's a dairy maid, right? No fitness or wellness equipment allowed. Sims may work on these skills without equipment. No soccer. It was not popular in the USA at this time. Well, I'm not in the USA. I am in the UK, and soccer was actually something that they would have played. So we may allow them to. Vacations are not allowed, but camping is. Well, then we can go to Granite Falls and camp, right? I mean, archaeology became more prevalent in the mid-20th century, but didn't exist in the 1800s. This is true, so we won't be worrying about that. Vets for household pets weren't common. We're not going to worry about that. Small pets were not kept in the 1890s. Also, no pet clothing is allowed. Well, we probably will get a cat. Because we're going to have a farm, and farms would have had a cat, but, you know, we'll see about that. We'll maybe take them and get them neutered off camera so that you guys don't see that happening. All laundry must be done with a wash basin. Damn it! Washing in the Victorian period was an all-week event, I will tell you that now. They would have washed on the Monday, then they would have got it all mangled through and dried off. Then they would have starched it and let it dry again, and then they would have ironed it, and then of course everything needs mending as well. So it was an all-week event. Playground equipment, play dates, ball pits were not yet invented and therefore not allowed. This is not actually historically accurate. Playground equipment was starting to come into popularity. There would have been fairs that had playground equipment that would have been transferred around. They wouldn't have been in the house. They would have been transferred around fairs and stuff like that. So we may allow them like once every now and again to take the kids to the play park and pretend it's the fairground, right? Sims may become famous for reasonable reasons given the decade. We probably won't worry about that unless one of my Sims decides to murder somebody. Only men can vote on the neighbourhood action plans. We are going to have to make sure that we turn those off, actually, because that's going to drive me nuts. Skiing is allowed, but snowboarding and rock climbing are not. We're not going to worry about that. While Sims may enjoy naturally occurring hot springs, in-home hot springs are not allowed. Okay. You may want to start working on a cow plant in this decade. Well, I'm not quite sure why we need a cow plant, but apparently we need a cow plant. We'll make sure that we at least go fishing and get one, because fishing would have been something that they would have done. Right, we've waffled on about the rules and history for long enough, right? I think we've already lost a lot of we've about half of it's gone with the rules, but I don't care, because I'm giving you all a history lesson, and if I'm not here to edumificate you, then what the hell am I here for? So, Mr. Alfred, you're going to need a wife. You are a farmer, you need a wife. The farmer wants a wife. Farmer wants a wife. This is his house, by the way. I downloaded the shell off the gallery and I made it as historically accurate as possible. So the bedroom's tiny, furthest away from the heat source. Just about enough room to swing a cat. The furniture is wooden. We've got candles everywhere. We've got the wooden hutch. Here I've made, I think this was meant to be a bathroom, but we're not allowed indoor bathrooms. So turn it into like a little pantry. This is where we're going to be storing all the dry goods and everything else, because I think that's quite historically accurate. This is the cooker, like the range that I went for. So we can do canning, we can cook off grid. That's about all we can do, cook off grid. So what can we cook off grid? We have to have the ingredients as well, guys, by the way. So we can't actually cook anything off-grid right now because we don't have crickets. We don't have... Well, we can get fish. We can send in... we can make cheese. Right, so you can't actually cook anything. Power doesn't work off-grid. Now, here. Add ice to that. And then we cook. We'd probably be able to do like a salad or something from here. Yorkshire pudding. He can't make salads or anything. He's got... Oh, there you go. Garden salad. But we need to have tomato and lettuce. We have none of those. We're going to have to order them as soon as we can. So he's going to be eating fish. Right, that is what he's going to be doing. What's this here? Notebook. There are no entries in the notebook right now. First of all, mate. Can we purchase... We just want regular seeds. We're going to go with starter vegetables. I'll get 2 of those. Because all my money mostly gone, but that's okay. Now, I'm trying to think when wind power and stuff would have started to be used on farms. Because I'm pretty certain that wind power would have been a thing for... certainly for... Not for generating electricity, but certainly for making flour and things. But anyway, we're going to have him do it. Oh, look at that. Right. An open seed packet. Right, mate. Because I'll just have you eat straight up vegetables. I don't care. We'll sell those. Well, we'll keep those because he's going to eat them. There's spinach. And we've got bell peppers, right? There we go, mate. Oh, by the way, his clothing is as historically accurate as I can possibly... Oh, no, I only did his everyday outfit. I'll do the rest off camera. As historically accurate as I can get it, they would have worn a vest and shirt sleeves, and they would have had the trousers and boots and a flat cap or something to protect the head from the sun. So, that's what I went with. Plant everything, please. Come on. And we have got... Yes, we want him. He's a farmer. Of course we want him to like gardening. We can't answer that. We can't answer that. Can we plant all, please? Come on, you should just plant everything. That's it. You can just water everything afterwards. This is the way to make money, right, mate? This is the way. Spending all day working in the fields. That's what you're doing. I don't know how many of these are actually... oh, no. We've got the welcome wagon. We're going to cancel that. It's not historically accurate. Nobody would have cared. Nobody would have cared. Right. Can you water everything, please? Water all. There we go. Water everything. Gotta keep an eye on you. There for you to eat for now. And then we're gonna send you fishing or something. We should have given him a pond. Well, we'll get him a pond at some point. He can dig a pond in at a later date. Look at this. So pretty. Such a pretty map. And I have got this, but I don't know how much is a cow gonna cost me. Okay, so llamas weren't really a thing in those days, so I'm gonna have to just not have llamas. Okay, but yeah, brown and spotted cow. So I'm gonna need like 400 a piece for those. There is another one, I'm sure, that we can get. Sure, light the fire. Oh, no. We've got a problem. Okay, guys, I've noticed a problem here in that we are about to set fire to our house. And I'm not here for that. Absolutely not. So, we're going to make sure that we've got like a stone hearth because that would have indeed been the case for the most part. Masonry. Well, something that just looks, yeah, like this. It doesn't set on fire, right? In case, because that is how he would have kept himself warm. Now, don't set yourself on fire. Is there anywhere here that we can see that we can go fishing? I mean, this... Look how pretty this is. Nobody else is historically dressed, but we're just going to live with that. For the time being, mate, those aren't grown, but you could maybe go and look for frogs there. There's a little water wheel there. It's so cute. Water wheel and wind power was a thing. It was a thing even in the Elizabethan period, in fact. Can you not fish there? What are you? Wild raspberries. Yes, new plants, of course. Okay, we're going to keep an eye on those for when they grow, because raspberries can come in handy. The wife can do the canning. You can dig that up, because I don't care. Is there nowhere here that has, like, a... No! Why can we not go fishing in the pond? Oh, we can. Go fishing, because you... Gather water. Go fishing. We do actually need something to store water in. And, yes, the Victorian farmers would have stored rain in rain barrels for watering the crops with. But that is not historically inaccurate. But I'm just making sure he's got food that he can cook. Like, he can cook frogs and stuff. If they'd have caught frogs, I'm telling you now, they would have eaten them. I don't think there's any precedent for them eating frogs. But anything that they could catch, they would eat. And they literally used to... They would eat the old hens and stuff as well, rather than, you know, breeding hens just for meat. They would breed the birds for laying eggs, and then they would eat them at the end of their lifetime. What on earth did we just get? We got an upgrade part. Well, I'm just going to sell these because they're just not useful right now. This, I don't know. We're not going to open it because it wouldn't be historically accurate to do so. I want to make sure he's got a couple of... fish that you can keep for, you know, for cooking. Because, you know, we're living off the land here, people. And actually, we don't need a pond if we've got this one here. We will give his wife a makeover. I may eventually go through the whole town and give everybody a makeover, but it's going to be hard work to do so, so... No, mate. Go fishing. Go fishing and then gather some more water for me. I don't know what we're going to do with the water, but we'll keep it for watering plants and stuff. We will do so. Okay, she's like just wandering around in a swimming costume, minding her own business, doesn't give it 2 fucks in the entire world. Totally immodest, by the way. That is not what a swimming costume would have looked like in those days. It would have come down to her knees at the very, very least. Just so you know, I hope you freeze to death. It serves you right for being improper. Shame. Shame. Come on, mate. Then you've got 2 meals at least. Want you to have enough for 2 meals. That's all I'm bothered about. He needs to pee. Well, we've got the outhouse that you can go to. And also in those days, guys, just so you know, they were still employing people to dig out these communal bathrooms and to empty all the crap out of them. That was an actual job in the Victorian period. Somebody left food. Oh, it's a little lantern. So cute. Perfect as well. I mean, if you weren't seeing people walking around, you would be free to believe that this was the Victorian period, right? So, first off, mate, come and pee. We didn't wash the walls, but it's okay. Go and pee, and we'll see what you need. You are hungry, so we'll probably get you to cook some fish. But the sooner you get a wife, mate, the better. They would have met... Why are we cold? They would have met the wives at church or in the village. Like, it would have been... Or somebody, if they were working together, it would have been somebody that was known to them. It wouldn't have been, you know, nightclubs and stuff like that. Because obviously they didn't exist. We're going to auto-light everything because they would have saved. It would have saved. No, mate! No, 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 no. I'll change the rest of your stuff off camera later. Right. If you could come and... Can't cook there. You can cook from here, though, right? There was the fish one. I saw it. Any vegetable crickets. Where was the fish? Fuck off grid. Fish on a stick. Works for me. Go on. Not your job to cook, mate, but that is functional off grid, right? I'm fairly certain it is. Yeah, because we had ice to it. Come on, mate. Eat your fish on a stick. Works for me. Yeah, they got like a little table to sit and eat at. They do have the comfy chairs for when they're doing the crochet or because the knitting would have been a thing, and the cross stitching would have been a thing for the ladies, as well as taking care of all the household chores, canning all the vegetables, keeping a small cottage garden for crops that weren't for selling, but that's okay. She can just help her husband. That's already very evolving. Thank you very much. Right, guys, this is the first episode over and done with. You can go and clean that up. First episode over and done with. I know there was a lot of rules and stuff in the beginning, but I hope you're looking forward to this as much as I am, because I can't wait to take you all through the history of farming while we are doing this challenge. Also means Mama's going to have to brush up on some of her history of farming, because there are probably things about the Victorian period farmers that I am forgetting, but we will get there. So, if you've enjoyed this video and you like the idea of this challenge, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Comments and suggestions, as always, guys, in the comments box down below. For those of you who joined me for the premiere, I would like to thank you for joining me. I'm doing that in advance because I know some of you are diehards and will be there, and I appreciate it. And if I don't see you guys over on Twitch, then I'm going to see you in the next episode. Ciao for now, guys. Ciao, ciao.